Have you ever looked at the ruins of ancient Rome or the pyramids of Egypt and wondered, is this where it all began? For a long time, we've been taught that human civilization started around 10,000 years ago, with Sumeria, Egypt, and the Indus Valley being the cradles of our modern world. But what if that story is incomplete? What if the real beginning of our story is so old it's been almost completely erased by time? Let's journey to a place that challenges everything we thought we knew, Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. Discovered in the 1990s, this site is a collection of massive, intricately carved stone pillars arranged in circles. The carvings depict animals and abstract symbols with a level of artistry that's simply breathtaking, the truly mind-bending part. It's been dated to be over 12,000 years old. That's 7,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the first pyramids. At the time Göbekli Tepe was built, mainstream archaeology says humans were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers, living in small nomadic bands. So, who built this colossal temple? How did they organize the labor, develop the artistry, and master the engineering required to quarry, move, and erect stones weighing up to 20 tons? Göbekli Tepe isn't just an old structure. It's a profound anomaly that suggests an organized, sophisticated society existed millennia before we believed possible. It forces us to ask, was this an isolated miracle or a glimpse into a world we've completely forgotten? The mystery only deepens when we travel across the world to the mountains of Peru. Here we find Sacsayhuaman, a citadel on the northern outskirts of Cusco. Its walls are built from enormous stones, some weighing over 100 tons. What's astonishing is how these massive, irregularly shaped blocks fit together so perfectly without any mortar. You can't even slip a piece of paper between them. The official story is that the Inca built it in the 15th century using simple tools. But many engineers and geologists have questioned this. How could a civilization without the wheel, without iron tools, and without a written system of engineering plans achieve such precision on such a massive scale? Even with our modern laser cutting technology, replicating this stonework would be an immense challenge. Could the Inca have built upon the foundations of something far, far older, a ruin left behind by a civilization with a completely different and perhaps more advanced understanding of stonemasonry? And the puzzles don't stop with architecture. Let's look at the symbols. All over the world, from Easter Island in the Pacific to ancient sites in Turkey. From Pakistan to Bolivia, we find a recurring symbol known as the handbag of the gods. It looks like a small basket or handbag, often held by divine or heroic figures. Why would cultures separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, with no known contact, all depict the exact same peculiar object? Some researchers suggest it represents a standard of measurement or a package of knowledge carried by the civilizing heroes who, according to many ancient myths, taught humanity the arts of farming, law, and astronomy. Could this symbol be a faint echo, a cultural fingerprint left behind by a single, globe-trotting civilization from a distant past? A civilization that seeded knowledge across the planet before it vanished. This brings us to one of the most compelling and controversial theories: the idea of a forgotten human cycle. What if our current civilization isn't the first, but one of many? The theory suggests that advanced civilizations have risen and fallen on Earth for a much longer period than we imagine, perhaps, stretching back not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. Graham Hancock, a prominent proponent of this idea, argues that a highly advanced civilization flourished during the last ice age. According to his theory, this civilization had sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, engineering, and possibly even global navigation. But around 12,800 years ago, a cataclysmic event, perhaps a comet impact, triggered massive global floods and an abrupt climate shift, wiping out this civilization and most evidence of its existence. Only a few survivors remained, scattered across the globe, carrying with them fragments of their lost knowledge. These survivors, according to the theory, became the civilizing gods or wise men remembered in the myths of Sumeria, Egypt, and the Americas. They passed on their knowledge, helping to jumpstart the civilizations we now consider the first. This isn't just speculation. Geologists have found evidence of a major impact event right around this time. A layer of nanodiamonds and other materials across North America and Europe, consistent with a cosmic impact. Could this be the smoking gun? Could the myth of a great flood found in hundreds of cultures worldwide not be a myth at all, but a shared, distorted memory of this real cataclysmic event? This would explain why so many ancient cultures suddenly began practicing advanced agriculture and building megalithic structures around the same time. Shortly after the end of the Ice Age, they weren't inventing it from scratch. They were relearning it. Consider the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old analog computer discovered in a Roman-era shipwreck. This intricate device, with its complex system of gears, could predict astronomical positions and eclipses with incredible accuracy. Scientists were stunned. Nothing approaching this level of technological sophistication was thought to exist until the 14th century in Europe. How did the ancient Greeks create such a device? Was it a stroke of isolated genius? Or was it a legacy of older, lost knowledge? If we look at the Peary race map from 1513, it appears to show the coast of Antarctica not, as it is today, covered in ice, but as a landmass. How could a 16th century cartographer map a continent that wasn't officially discovered until 300 years later, and map it without its ice cap, which has been there for millions of years? Proponents of the ancient civilization theory argue that the map was copied from much older source maps. Maps created by a seafaring culture that charted the globe before the last ice age, when Antarctica might have been partially ice-free. These aren't just isolated curiosities. When you connect the dots from the impossibly old architecture of Göbekli Tepe to the precision stonework of Sokot, the globally shared symbols, the universal flood myths, the geological evidence of a cataclysm, and the out-of-place artifacts, a provocative picture begins to emerge. It's a picture of a past far more complex and ancient than we've ever been told. It suggests that we might be a species with amnesia, living amongst the ruins of a forgotten golden age, slowly rediscovering the knowledge that our ancestors once mastered. This idea doesn't diminish the achievements of our known ancestors in Sumeria, Egypt, or Greece. Instead, it reframes their story. Perhaps they weren't starting from zero. Perhaps they were the gifted and resilient inheritors of a profound legacy tasked with rebuilding the world after a global catastrophe. Our history might not be a straight line of progress from primitive to advance, but a cycle of rise, fall, and rebirth. So, the next time you look up at the stars or see a picture of an ancient ruin, let your mind wander. Could human history be millions of years older than we think? Are we just the latest chapter in a story that has been unfolding on this planet for an unimaginably long time? The clues are out there, carved in stone and buried in the earth, waiting for us to piece them together. The answers could fundamentally change our understanding of who we are and where we come from. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the deep past. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries. Let me know in the comments what you think is there, a lost civilization waiting to be rediscovered. Until next time, keep questioning.